Hello, everyone. Welcome back to X-Rays, where we take a look at industry evolution through the eyes of those creating change and innovation. I'll be your host, Rosalie, for this online show where we'll discuss and learn the latest, most exciting developments from industry leaders, pioneers, and innovators who are shaping the future. Today, we'll be speaking with Stephen Davis, the founder and CEO of Renaissance Solutions. Stephen is a leadership and internal mobility coach with over 22 years of experience helping individuals and organizations navigate their career journeys. He's worked with professionals at all levels, and his clients have gone on to secure roles at top companies like JP Morgan, Google, Amazon, and Pfizer. Stephen, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thanks, Rosalie. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's good to have you back on the show, and I'm
Thank you.
excited to hear what you've been up to. So to start off, if you could take us through the journey that you've had as a professional, how did you get started as an executive coach?
Oh, thanks for asking. I was very, very fortunate. I started my early career as a technology recruiter, and I was asked to coach some people who were working at JP Morgan here in New York City. And it was very emotional for me because everyone that I was asked to coach was notified that their jobs were eliminated. It was part of a reorg that the company was doing. And as you probably know, Rosalie, a lot of companies go through reorganizations.
Mm,
So I was actually trying to recruit a coach who worked at JP Morgan. And she told me that she wasn't interested in leaving, but asked me if I could speak with these people because they had no idea how to work with recruiters. So I did. And to make a long story short, I guess they were impressed with me because the leader of the program asked me if I wanted to be a coach for JP Morgan.
oh, wow.
So I initially said, I'm a recruiter. Why should I be a coach?
Mm,
And then she said, well, if you change your mind, let me know. And I thought about it and I realized that I was coaching people to get interviews. I was coaching people to get job offers.
mm, mm,
And I really had much more enjoyment and satisfaction from doing that than actually trying to fill jobs.
mm.
So I took her up on the offer. I met with a managing director here on Park Avenue. He asked me three questions and he said, you can start Monday as a consultant, gave me an office. And I was trained by the JP Morgan Chase Corporate Career Center, which was described by the American Banker Association as, quote, an exemplar of excellence in career development.
Mm.
That's how I was trained. So my first client walked into my office with his head down, saying that he was notified that his job was eliminated
Mm,
and he didn't know how to tell his wife that they weren't going to be getting a paycheck.
mm,
He had someone in college, his son, and it was a very emotional experience. And I learned early on, Rosalie, that there's a difference between a manager and a leader. And I realized that looking for a job and even getting a promotion is emotional. And that's how I started.
mm, mm. Well, it's quite the journey then that you've been on, and I can imagine as well seeing the impact that you're having around you must also be incredibly inspiring, and really make you want to keep on doing this. And do you specialize in coaching individuals seeking new opportunities as well as employees with companies?
I do. I do a lot of what we call internal mobility coaching, which is what I was doing and what I'm still doing for JP Morgan Chase on a global level. They have some very impressive programs for technologists. And I have been coaching this program. It's called the Expert Engineer Program. And they identify 100 of the top performers in IT out of the 65,000 people that work globally for the bank in technology. And I'm one of five coaches, and I coach associates and vice presidents in India, Singapore, Hong Kong, the UK, South America, and across the US to help people and empower people to improve their leadership skills.
Mm,
And this is an area that I am very, very committed to because there are learning and development managers and leaders in JP Morgan and in other companies that I work with their employees, and their jobs are to improve retention and help people stay in the firm. And as you probably know, there's a level of confidentiality where if you worked, say you worked for Google, and you were my manager, and you say, well, Steve, you need to improve your performance. We have some issues.
Mm,
And what's going on? Do you have everything that you need in your personal life? Are there any problems going on at home? The work-home life balance. There is a sensitivity to how much an employee would share with another employee who could potentially utilize that data
mm,
to not be so productive for the employee. And that's where an executive coach comes into play. And that's where I have just been so grateful for having people hire me to coach them in internal mobility and help them receive new jobs, pay increases in different companies like BlackRock and OpenAI and JP Morgan, of course, and Amazon and Google. And there's so many other companies that bring me in to augment what their learning and development and talent managers do internally.
Yeah, I can see, I can, hear the impact that you're having as well, and it must be also amazing to witness like the inner workings of those companies and to really get to see, the employees in that space and help them as well. And innovation is crucial in any industry, in the tech industry. Could you share some examples of how what it is you do is innovative or different, from other coaching services on the market?
I'm so glad you asked. You know, there are coaches of all different types. And my specialization really is in technology and on the business side. But I think what my differentiating factors are, I am very focused on improving skill sets that include influencing skills.
Mm,
For example, whenever speak with someone and I say, well, what are your goals in your career? And a lot of people say, I would like to get a promotion. Well, a lot of coaches will say, okay, talk to your manager and ask your manager, what do you need to do to receive a promotion?
mm,
I think that's a mistake. So what I do differently is I coach people on how to behave and communicate as if they already were promoted. Because if a manager and even a skip manager understands that someone has the behavior and the skill sets to be like promoted from a vice president to a senior vice president, they're behaving like a senior vice president. It's much easier to facilitate that promotion based on the behavior instead of someone saying, what should I do? What should I do? Tell me.
I can imagine, yeah.
So
Um,
I think that's a differentiator. Sorry.
yeah, yeah, I can hear that, yeah. And you've mentioned a couple of the companies that you've worked with, such as OpenAI, such as JP Morgan. So on the other side of that, what companies do your clients work with?
So many. Google primarily. I
Hmm.
have a few clients at Google. Also, obviously, JP Morgan, BlackRock, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, a lot of pharmaceutical companies as well, and manufacturing companies. We don't have enough time to go into all of them. However, technology really is industry agnostic.
Hmm.
And I also, in addition to IT, I also coach a lot of people on the business side, on the product side, because retention is extremely important in the corporate world. There are so many decision makers that believe that attrition is part of business. It's business as usual. And I don't think, I'm sure you've heard this. Everyone is replaceable. There are some people that believe everyone is replaceable. The Society for Human Resource Management, SHRM, they came out in January and made a statement that they're the largest human resources organization that I'm aware of. And they stated that people are not replaceable because the average employee to be replaced, it could take anywhere from 30% to 70%, I'm sorry, to 30% to 200% of someone's salary and could potentially take 6 to 9 months. Because if someone leaves a company, what has to happen? New interviews have to be scheduled. Recruiters have to find new candidates. There has to be training, plus all the lost time and productivity,
Hmm.
not to mention the morale boost, especially if the person was a valued member of a team. If your manager and you just really got along famously and your manager left, you would think I'm losing someone that was a champion.
Mm, mm,
There's a morale factor. That's why I agree with the SHRM that everyone is not replaceable.
mm, mm.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. And it's great to hear you say that because I think there is this viewpoint these days that there is limitless human resources, so to speak. But it is good to take into consideration that each person brings that knowledge and that value. And customer feedback, it's essential for any kind of improvement. So how do you gather and utilize feedback to enhance what it is you do?
Where there are metrics available because a manager has expectations, the employee has expectations. So if I believe that that one of my clients on the corporate side is taking the wrong approach or has a mindset that can be improved, I'm committed to making sure that the manager's expectations are in alignment with the employee's expectations. If there is a disconnect, the metrics will show that.
Mm,
And that's why I really do a deep dive into the services that I offer. Time management affects performance. Influencing skills, the ability to influence senior level people is important in someone's performance.
mm,
Delegation. So many people are doing so much more work these days with less resources. If they're not able to delegate work, not just say, oh, Rosalie, I'm very busy. Can you do this for me? That's not delegation because Rosalie is even busier than I might be.
mm,
So that has a lot to do with the metrics as well. Like how effective is someone in doing their job and getting work off their desk while still empowering the people they're asking to do their work for them.
mm, mm,
And then there's communication. And a lot of what I do is emotional intelligence coaching. According to Daniel Goleman, who is a pioneer in emotional intelligence, the first two pillars of EQ are self-awareness and awareness of others. So if I send you an email and you say, gee, Steve, I'm going to send your email to 5 managing directors, I have one chance to make an impression with Rosalie and with the 5 people you send my email to.
mm,
If I'm not aware of what you're looking for or what motivates you or what motivates those 5 people, I don't have high IQ or EQ,
mm,
and it's not going to provide the results that I'm looking for. So there's productivity improvements as well that I really get down from the management team.
mm.
What does the person need to do in their production to make them more effective? And the last part of the coaching, which is more important to me than anything, work, home, life balance.
Mm.
I work with clients that tell me they're on their email at 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night, 1 in the morning. Why? Because they have a family, because they have too much work to do. They don't manage their time properly. That's a recipe for burnout.
Mm,
And that's why I say it's the most important part.
absolutely. Oh, it's very interesting to hear as well, the ways that you're going about this coaching and also what you're prioritizing for the clients that you work with. But thank you so much for talking to us today, Stephen. It was really great to hear about the work that you're doing and how you're helping the people that you work with, find what it is that works best for them. So thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you.
And to our listeners at X-Rays, thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Rosalie, and I'll see you next time.